Hey guys, so a lot of friends who do listen to my podcast just contacted me and asked that where did you get this idea of starting this podcast thing on your YouTube channel, and what's the reason behind this? Why are you doing this actually? Because my profession is in IT industry. I belong to information technology industry, and it has nothing to do with all the topics which I'm covering in my podcast session, and will be covering going further. So they were really amazed that okay, good that you are having viewpoints upon this, but from where the hell this idea came into your mind that you should start this channel of yours, and you should just start posting things like this on varied topics. So actually, there were days when I used to be a very competitive school kid and used to get worried whenever I saw a person with a better awareness or intellect than me. I used to think that why I'm not knowing the thing which he is aware of, or why I didn't act that smart like him at a certain situation. But gradually, with development of a sense of maturity, I realized that throughout this life, we all will come across different questions of which we will find answers in the form of the experience we gain. And finally, at the end, we will leave this planet with a bunch of answers to different questions as a takeaway from this short span of our stay. The difference just lies in the delivery and the pattern of the questions we come across. One may receive a question at an early phase of life, but same question the other may come across somewhere at a later stage of his journey. So the difficulty level is all the same in the examination. It's only the occurrence of the question that varies from person to person, depending upon his or her condition and the path he or she selects. So a year later, even the planet where we stay will be at the same place because of its constant elliptical motion with no specific goal, but only few driving forces at the center to make it revolve rather than stay stationary. Hence, for me, a bifurcation made based on the level of goals in the journey of each individual soul whom we meet, and uh, should not any day be the criteria to judge. In fact, a judgmental nature which has been nourished with a comparative approach is itself one of the lamest state of mind one can ever have. So let us save this capability of judgment for the fields and areas where they don't sound lame. Probably my level 10 may be your level 1, or someone else's level 20. This itself proves the very thought of categorization as lame when it comes to knowing someone's journey, where, in my opinion, sharing the varied experiences of the journey from A to B with that from X to Y brings more bliss to the entire task and will also positively justify our DNA of being a social animal. Saying that, when it comes to judging yourself, then the concept of level can be, of course, be applied, since there is only one reference of the starting point, and as a part of self-awareness, one should at least be capable enough to define his own displacements from their reference origin at different stages of their lives. Similarly, by this time, I'm also able to find myself averagely displaced from my origin, where I judged myself eligible enough to share few fragments of my journey in a way that will allow the listeners to connect with me, since I feel my life as a very common one, which comprises of a childhood in a middle class family, an engineering degree from a private college, a job in IT, and a life partner. So I think that I don't further need more words to convince you all regarding the commonness I own. But the different points of view by every individual on this earth regarding these common experiences vary, that results into several forms of delivery of these experiences. So I just hope the method of my delivery in the form of this podcast assignment will keep you engaged for a while and will produce some sort of connection with me. There are neither big methods I'm trying to explain to you guys, nor I know the art of living. I just pushed myself to find some time from this busy schedule and took an initiative to feel few of my simple experiences starting from the childhood till date. So these experiences are not involving any adventure or game-changing feelings. You all know that, but what that creates a difference, what will create a difference between me and the other youngsters of this country is my plan for the next phase of my life, and the conclusions which I drew from all these experiences that I am mentioning in my podcast and will continue to mention. So I've divided this podcast into two phases. Like in 2020, this complete year till December end, I'll be covering all my podcasts on different topics in English, and then in 2000 by 2021 January, I'll be starting with a new phase two of my podcast where I'll be discussing my topics as well as short stories in Hindi, in our own language. So probably this will cut short a few audience, but since I'm from India, my main target is to focus upon the people of my country. So probably till 2020, the people who follow this universal language of English can probably uh, enjoy this podcast, but later after that I'll be switching to Hindi, and of course there will be much more things to come if your views, your likes are sufficient enough to keep me motivated throughout. And then of course there will be many other things other than the podcast will come up very soon, and I'll come up with various videos. I have many ideas in my mind, so I've just started my things. So let's see how it goes, and depending upon the reviews of everyone, I'll be moving ahead and taking the direction as per the choice of the audience. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll come up with the next podcast shortly. Take care. Bye bye.